Hello and welcome to this lecture on pigments. In the last lecture, we are talking about cellular accumulation and where we discuss about the classification of intracellular accumulation. If we go back to the previous slides, and when we talk about intracellular accumulation, we're talking about three classification. Number one, accumulation of constituents of normal cell metabolism produced in excess, or we discuss in other words the production of metabolites in excess. Then the second classification is accumulation of abnormal substance produced as a result of abnormal metabolism. And the third one, which we are going to discuss, is accumulation of pigments. And this is the topic that we are going to discuss today. So, pigmentation is defined as the colored substance present in most living beings, including human. And we all know there are different kind of pigments that is present inside the human, starting from melanin. Why melanin is important? Because you are fair, some people are white, some people are mixed color, some people are brown, black. Is why? Because of this pigment we known as melanin pigment. Then there are some pigments that is injected or given from the environment outside to inside, like the tattoos that has been used using Indian ink to insert from outside to inside. This is also known as pigment. So let's discuss one by one. We classify pigments into two forms. We classify pigmentation into two forms. One is endogenous and the second one is exogenous. As the name indicate, when we talk about endogenous, the word is endo has been used. What is meant by endo? Endo mean inside. And these are those pigments that are present inside the body. Exo mean outside. So we are talking about those pigment that has been inserted from outside to inside the body. Common example of endogenous pigments are melanin, and then we have another example of hemosiderin. When we talk about exogenous pigments, the common example I discuss is tattoo formation, and the second example is anthracosis. Anthracosis. Okay, let's discuss in detail. First, we talk about melanin pigment. The melanin pigment is brown black in color, non-hemoglobin derived pigment, normally present in hair, skin, mucosa, choroid of the eye, meninges, and adrenal medulla. And you can see very simple example that it is brown black in color. Why adrenal medulla is look like brown? Why choroid of the eye looks brown? Why our skin looks brown? These all example are showing you because the presence of melanin. In the skin, it is synthesized in the melanocytes. If we take a look of this picture, and they are showing you this melanocytes, and you can see this dark color is showing you the melanin pigments. These are melanocytes, and they are present at the basal cells of the epidermis. You can see this is the basal layer, and you can see these are present at the basal layer of the epidermis. and they are actually stored in the form of melanophores underlying dermis. So you can see this is actually known as melanophores. There are various disorders of melanin which can be classified as generalized and localized. So the disorders of melanin can be classified as generalized and can be classified as localized. And you can see from the name that the effect, if the effect will is generalized, we call it as generalized hyperpigmentation, or if the effect is localized, we can call it as localized hyper or hyperpigmentation. So the disorder could be related to either hyperpigmentation, and it could be generalized as hypopigmentation. So hyperpigmentation, when we talk about hyper, it means high concentration or increased concentration of melanin. And when we talk about hypopigmentation, it means low concentration of melanin. Hypo means low, hyper means high, and these hyper and hypo terms comes oftenly in the pathology. So you must know the meaning of these terminologies. Addison disease is an example of generalized hyperpigmentation, which is caused by the excess adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH on the melanocytes to produce melanin. So in this case, there will be the stimulant effect, and which is responsible to produce more melanin from the melanocytes. When we talk about the generalized hypopigmentation, the common example is albinism, which is caused because of the defect in the tyrosinase enzyme, and that defect is responsible to produce no melanin in the melanocytes. So I can write down this to explain. For generalized hyperpigmentation, the common example is Addison disease. And for generalized hypopigmentation, the common example is albinism. Another common example of endogenous pigment is hemosiderin. And they can be identified in the form of golden yellow to brown color using H&E stain, which is known as hematoxylin and eosin stain. Or in the picture B, if we see, take a look on this picture, we have another picture that using Prussian blue granules. These blue granules you can see, and they can be identified very easily using Pearl stain. So in picture A, we're using H and E staining, whereas in picture B, we're using Pearl stain. And in picture A, we can identify easily using brown, yellow, or golden yellow color, whereas in picture B, it could be identified easily using the Pearl stain, and you can see that blue color is showing you the presence of hemosiderin. And you have to understand that hemosiderin is the site where iron is stored. So the storage of iron is actually inside hemosiderin. So what is the problem? What problem occur? So you have to understand the problem, like for example, excess storage of hemosiderin occur in the condition where there will be increased breakdown of red blood cells. For example, we have to understand the life cycle of the red blood cell. That red blood cell have the uh, life cycle of 120 days. Or you can say the lifespan of red blood cells is 120 days, and after then they break down. So you have to understand that it is very important to understand where we can identify the hemosiderin. It can identify easily in the bone marrow, spleen, and liver, where it break down. So the excessive storage of hemosiderin occur in the condition where there will be the breakdown of the red blood cells, or sometimes the systemic overload of iron in case of blood transfusion. So these two conditions could be possible either in blood transfusions, or sometime in alcoholic cirrhosis, or chronic hemolytic anemia, or sometimes genetic or idiopathic reasons. So in this case, the excess storage of hemosiderin will be occur. Then there is a term known as hemosidrosis, and it is also known as hemochromatosis, which is a disorder in which the iron overload occur, causing iron toxicity. And that iron toxicity could be dangerous and can lead to organ failure. We classify that hemosiderosis into two sections. One is the localized, and the second example is, or the second classification is systemic. So we have two types: localized hemosiderosis, and second one is systemic hemosiderosis. In localized hemosiderosis, the common example is black eye. Whereas in systemic hemosiderosis, it could be caused because of the multiple reason, such as increase intestinal absorption of iron, or increase erythropoietic activity, or excessive dietary intake of iron. What is meant by the black eye in the localized hemosiderosis? It is very simple. If, for example, somebody fight with you and somebody punch you on your eye on that area look black in color. Why? Because of the localized hemosiderosis. Now let's discuss the exogenous pigmentation, and we take an example of anthracosis or anthracosis lung. Anthracosis is seen in almost every adult and generally provoked no reaction to tissues. However, extensive deposition of particulate material over many years, such as in coal miners, they can be fatal. So you have to understand that if people that are working on the coal mines, they can expose to black carbon particles for a long duration, and because they are inhaling these carbon particles, they can go inside to the respiratory bronchioles, where you can see these black carbon particles inside, and then you can see the macrophages, they are dust laden. We have dilated alveoli. So you can see in the pictures, we can see these black carbon particles. Why? Because the coal miners, they have to work for long duration in the coal mines, and that leads to anthracosis of lung. Coal miners that are working for longer duration, so they are exposed to carbon particles, black carbon particles, and if they are inhaling these carbon particles, it can affect their lung and can lead to pneumoconiosis. And pneumoconiosis is a disease of the lung due to inhalation of dust, and which leads to the characterized inflammation, coughing, and fibrosis. Then we have another example of exogenous pigmentation like chronic lead poisoning. And how can we characterize? The answer is very simple. We can characterize by looking their teeth. A blue color will be appeared on their gum line. That is the way to characterize the patient is suffering from lead poisoning. Then the last example is pigments such as India ink or carbon that has been injected exogenous into the person for tattoos, for making their tattoos. So this is another example of exogenous pigmentation, where tattoos have been made on the skin and using different ink like India ink. So thank you so much for today's lecture.